Guys, hanging out at the library here, and wanted to talk to you about what's being said and what's actually not being said. Um, there, Rob Manfred was in Oakland for the wild card game with the A's and discussed the stadium issue and that day the city of Oakland, namely the city council, sued to stop the sale of the Coliseum property to the A's, citing a few different things. And it set off a few, got my hands in the way here, setting off a few, what's the best way of putting this? It set off a lot of panic. So apparently, with the lawsuit happening, the Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred had said that if the suit continues, if it's not dropped, if it doesn't go away, the A's could, operative words here, they could move to Las Vegas or another city. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. Now, people are taking this quote, especially in the news, and they're running with it, saying that drop the lawsuit or else we're moving, and that's the connotation that they're giving it, and that's irresponsible and it's wrong, and it's not even remotely close to the truth. What Manfred said basically was, hey, this could be a roadblock. And if things like this happen, it could cause relations between the A's and the city and the county to sour, and things could go sideways, which is sort of what happened with the Raiders. And he used Las Vegas as his example because he knows that the Raiders leaving Oakland is a sore spot with Oaklanders. So suddenly everybody is running around saying, oh my God, the A's are leaving. What are you going to do? They're going to go to Vegas too. They're stealing the A's from us. And that's not even close. People really do need to read these articles. They need to read the quote, and they need to use some good old-fashioned reading comprehension and actually study the words and process them and understand what they mean. They could. Things can happen. They could go to Vegas. They could go to Portland. They could go to Montreal. A lot of things could happen. They could move to Mars. It's this knee-jerk reaction to something like that. That's the problem. If the lawsuit didn't go away, the A's have a lot of other options in Oakland. And I've been talking to people the last few days about, why do the A's need the Coliseum site? Their plan has a lot of weird issues with me. Like, if you need the land and you need to develop it to get money, for it to generate money for Howard Terminal, for example, then why is so much of the land not really going to be used? It's going to be used for park space. Why not develop the whole thing? And I think that's actually part of Kaplan's idea. She wants to use more of the land, more low-income housing, more mixed use, more retail. At the same time, a lot of Oakland people, a lot of pro-Oakland people, just want this to happen. We don't want to lose the A's like we lost the Warriors and the Raiders. We don't need this again. We have a little bit of PTSD with that. We don't want to lose another team. And the idea that somebody's giving something to the A's. Another story came out today. It was actually an op-ed piece through the Mercury News that the real end game here is public subsidy. And they tried to explain that the public subsidy would be a discount on the land, and that's not true. And I've argued a little bit here with some of the folks about what that true valuation of the land is. In 2016, the Coliseum land was valued about $165 million. And you got to kind of, I can't find a real number, because one thing will tell me that the Coliseum property is 160 acres, one says it's 120. I don't know. But current commercial real estate prices in Oakland is about $1.4 million per acre. At 120 million or 120 acres, you're looking at about $164 million. And half of that would be about $85 million. So if that's correct, the valuation is right on the money. Their A's aren't really getting a discount. And then, there's talk of a looming recession. If the A's, if it happens again where we have, a market crash, suddenly that $85 million is paying way too much money. Why? None of this makes sense. Also, since 2016, prices have actually dropped for real estate. It's gone down about 2% a year. And other people are saying the land is worth more like $200 million. Okay, so we're squabbling over $15 million, but the A's are projecting $7.3 billion in economic development in Oakland because of a new stadium. I mean, I think I'll take my whatever billion dollars over $15 million, or maybe if that is a point of contention, raise the asking price to something more reasonable. But I also understand the city of Oakland's issue here. Nobody's asking them anything. Nobody is giving them a say-so. The A's are just saying, we're buying the land and this is what we're going to do with it. And the city's like, well, hey, we own half of that. Why don't we get a say-so? And that at least seems to be the surface argument here. But they're using laws that exist statewide that, first off, if it's public land, it needs to be sold for the city needs to get first crack at how it's sold. Or the city needs to get a crack at being the first buyer. And if that doesn't happen, they have to basically put it up for a bid, which they also didn't do. The county did not, as far as we know, have a bidding process for this land. I don't think they talked to anybody and entertained any other offers. So that's the bone of contention. But as we stand right now, the city and the county and the A's are all meeting. They're scheduled to meet and maybe hammer this out, and maybe the lawsuit goes away. The court date is October 14th. But what made this worse is with Manfred saying what he said and people taking that way out left field, people took that as saying the A's are going to move. Drop the lawsuit or the A's are going to move. It becomes telephone. Now it becomes just the A's are straight up moving. And then you got Libby goes on TV today and says that, basically takes that talking point and says that Manfred said that do it or the A's are going to Las Vegas. Now, just a couple hours ago, Manfred, the Las Vegas Review-Journal basically put up a retraction of that same thing. Manfred said, I didn't say that. I kind of joked about it in passing that, if this doesn't go away, they could move to Vegas, and stated that he used Vegas because he knew that was a sticking point with us. That was one of those it was a jab. But all this Vegas stuff, all this Vegas talk is scare tactics. Whether it's a scare tactic to get fans riled up to go and email, Noel Gallo and Larry Reed and whoever else and Rebecca Kaplan, or get us, energized in that way. or maybe we're going to go and march on the A's headquarters. I don't know what the end game here is as far as creating fear, because that's what it's doing. I'm a member of several A's fan groups, and people are losing their mind over this, more so than when the Raiders were talking about Vegas, which is actually very surprising to me. And in this case, with what Manfred said, yeah, people might go to Vegas for a game or two, but are you going to go to a whole series, to watch the A's? Are you going to, how many games are you going to go to? There's 162 games. The baseball season's long. It's very long. You can't expect that same level of enthusiasm and out of market people coming to visit. As it stands, there's a lot of us A's fans who do go to other places, and we'll check out road games, and we don't take over any stadiums except for maybe the Angels, and we don't even get close to doing it with the Giants. That's still probably the best we get is about 60-40 on that one, but the idea here is not the same, and people do need to chill and read and talk about, and think critically about these things, and not just jump to conclusions, because none of this stuff was ever said by Manfred. Wait, I only got like half of that comment, and I'm trying to make it come back. Sorry, I'm there we go. Trying to find your messages. They all went away. Chat, live chat. There you go. Realize the MLB Commission Portland. See, I'm only seeing half of this message. I wish I could see that. It's really messed up. The chat on here. Do you realize? Yeah. Are you saying I'm only seeing like part of the message. It's getting truncated off the screen here, but the commissioner wants public money for what? I'm like, is he? Because nothing I saw was about public money other than just basically getting cheap land. Are you talking about in Portland? Because I haven't been up to date on the Portland stuff. I do know they have a commission, Las Vegas ballpark. So, oh man, this is all. Yeah, I mean, if people are willing to give you all that free money, then you got to say why not. But you would think Vegas would be over that. They don't even want the stadium there with the Raiders for the most part. Yeah, it is all just screwed up. Everybody needs to hurry up and get on the same page here before we get nothing. Sorry. People trying to call. Sorry, people are trying to call me. I don't know what happened. But yeah, people need to get on the same page here. Portland said no public money, and that's good. We shouldn't be giving public money to billionaires and multimillionaires. There should be a system where, if I were the king of the world, if I was the governor or whatever, if I could make these rules, I would say that, at least in this part of the world, that there's absolutely no need for public money to be going into any of these systems and into these projects. You got billionaire owners who could easily pay for these things cash, hitting up, basically asking for welfare and handouts. It's more corporate welfare. If there's money out there
Get it.
in naming rights, get it in sponsorships. You know, figure that out. You know, why are we having to foot the bill for these jerks? You know, and that the one thing that came to mind every time now that I'm talking about this is when we went to the last hearing for the Raiders, was listening to the NFL and Raiders lawyers say, we don't care about the fans, we don't care about the cities, we only care about the money. You know, and that's going to ring with me for a long time. And I'm not really sure where I really fall anymore now with in relations to any of these teams and any of these leagues, because it is all about money. And you know, like, again, if I was king of the world, I'd say no more public money for these things. You know, you got to figure it out yourself. You want a loan, go get a loan. If you either that or you build a smaller stadium, or you partner up with another franchise or college or something else. I mean, the world's changing. California is really wary about putting more public money into these joints that we don't get anything back from. You know, not only do they want public money, they want tax kickbacks. They want, you know, they want to keep all this extra money. You know, that's like, we should be getting free. We're, as taxpayers, we're not getting free tickets. We're not getting, you know, we're not getting anything out of this. You know, they're making money, and we're just hanging out, paying for it, and then, you know, paying for it again with ticket prices. I'm sorry, my leg's falling asleep here. So yeah, I would get rid of all that stuff. And I think I like that Oakland hasn't given in to the Raiders and wanting all that public money. It's like, no, you need to do it on your own accord. You know, it's funny that the same people who are telling you to, you know, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps are the same people who are wanting to give out all the money to corporations and teams. It is Alameda. I'm at the library. I don't know. Needed to get a book for my kid for school. He's got reading assignments to do. Yeah. So that's basically it. It's cool today. I don't know. It's probably mid 60s. There's fog's rolling in right now. They're talking about some. They're expecting some high winds. There's going to be like these rolling shutoffs for PG&E because they're afraid that the winds are going to knock down power lines and cause another fire, just like last year. And then, yeah, so like I got a message from school today that, you know, that we shouldn't be affected, but other school districts are affected. But if we are affected, there's no school tomorrow, which I hope power goes out because I would like to sleep in. But if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. It was warmer earlier. You know, this is California. People wear shorts for no good reason. It's been warm the last few days. It's been in like the high 70s, 80s. But it's starting to cool down now. I haven't looked at the weather lately, but I know this weekend's supposed to be nice and warm. It's Fleet Week, so that should be fun. We're waiting for the Hells Angels to start rattling around here. Hells Angels, Blue Angels. Hells Angels have always been here. The Blue Angels, they're supposed to get in on Wednesday or Thursday and start doing their flybys and their practice runs. Okay, so my World Series predictions. It's not really a prediction as much as a want. So I'm hoping. This is confusing, but so the way that the schedule goes is the team without home field advantage will be hosting the World Series, and I might screw up the days, but I've got the right weekend. I think it's the 24th, 25th, 26th, or maybe it's the 26th, 27th, 28th. Anyways, it's that one weekend. and I'm going to be in Los Angeles that weekend. So, being that I'm not going to an A's World Series, I don't have tickets for that. I'm hoping that if everything goes right, that the Dodgers are in the World Series, and the only way for that to work out is if the Houston Astros win. Possibly the Yankees, but I think they finish with the same record, and then you start going with all these tiebreakers of like head-to-head and in your division, and I have no idea with that, but I think, pretty sure that the Yankees have their division record, and I don't know if they played each other head-to-head. But anyways, ideally, for my own personal pleasure, I would like to see, for sure, Los Angeles and Houston. That's probably going to be what it is, but only because I want to try and get a cheap ticket and go to a World Series game. I've not been to a World Series game technically until since 1989, and that game got canceled because of an earthquake. So my World Series track record's not that good. But yeah, I would like to see Houston do it because they did have the best record in all of baseball, so they would automatically have home field advantage. I am kind of bummed that now the All-Star game is meaningless, because it used to be whoever wins. If the NL wins, the NL gets home field advantage in the playoffs, and it doesn't work that way. Now it's based on who has the best record, which is technically fair, but I like the other way around. Just because now the All-Star games is kind of it's not for anything. It's just a bunch of guys hanging out. Nobody's playing real hard. It's not quite the level of giving up that the NBA game is, where it's, combined scores of over 300 points. Nobody's playing defense. Nobody's going hard. That's really disappointing, and I wouldn't want to spend my money on that. I think the only thing of value that I think I would see out of that type of game is being able to see all these stars being in one place at one time. Of course you want to see LeBron and Steph and all these guys playing in one spot. And you might get your shoe autographed or something. Who knows? But with baseball, they kind of ham it up a little bit, but the Dodgers are also hosting the All-Star game next year, so I'll definitely be in on that. That's just a quick drive, and maybe we can go to Disneyland or something. I was just thinking, somebody had just said something earlier about the Angels, and I didn't see it. Oh, Jeff Giordano. He said something about Anaheim Ducks, NHL, California. I don't know what that really meant. But, now that we're on the issue of baseball and teams relocating, I got to look into it because, as far as I know, the Angels were not going to renew their lease in Anaheim. They're also looking for a new stadium, and man, now if there's a team I was going to poach and take to Las Vegas, it'd be those guys. No to relocation. I don't like relocation. I think it sucks. There was the issue of that people keep bringing up of, so if Oakland somehow got an expansion team, would I be into them? I'm like, yeah, I'm kinda, I guess. But I would not be into, say, the Jaguars or somebody coming here. We would be no better than Las Vegas was to us. I hate the idea of poaching another fan base's team. At the same time, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, because somebody had told me that you're basically settling, and which I agree with that. We're settling. We would be settling if we took an expansion team. We'd be settling if we took another team from another town, a relocated team. But I'm like, what's the difference? What if I'll use the lawsuit here, and what they keep talking about is like, oh, well, in the name and colors, and so whoever team that comes here will be the Raiders. I'm like, no, they won't. You'd be settling for fake Raiders. I mean, the real Raiders would be in Las Vegas called something else, while the fake Raiders are in Oakland. It's the Buffalo Bills disguised as the Oakland Raiders. I'm like, one way or another, you're settling and not getting what you want. And anyways, I digress. Overall thing with this live stream was people need to settle down, pay attention to what's going on, quit jumping to conclusions. None of us are in those rooms. None of us, as far as I know, none of us are. Nobody's behind the scenes in these meetings. You don't know what's really going on, what's being said. Nobody's reading the emails. Nobody's on the phone calls. We can all sit here and pretend we know what's going on, and the fact is we don't know jack, But the worst thing we can do is sit here and cry about the sky is falling like Chicken Little, because somebody misquoted somebody else, something that somebody else said, we are getting this information second and third hand by the time it reaches you. It's like a game of telephone, where the story keeps changing every time and every reiteration, and that's not okay. The A's aren't going anywhere. Like I said, Manfred already went and clarified his comments, said that he has no plans to relocate the A's to Las Vegas, and I guess nowhere else for that matter. I think the A's do have other avenues of getting financing if, for some reason, the deal falls through with the Coliseum land, which I'm also kind of torn about. I'm like, I thought they were two separate things and weren't tied together, but now I'm really confused about that, and I would love to have that straightened out. But I'm not worried about it yet until somebody files for relocation, or however it works in the Major League Baseball for relocation. I'm not listening to any of it. Anyways, I'm gonna take off now. Got to get my kid to baseball practice, and I'll see you guys later.